Live from the Score Atlanta television studios in North Atlanta, this is Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Georgia High School Sports Daily. I'm your host, Nigel Wilkins, along with Craig Sayer. We have a lot in store for you guys today. We'll talk to the Brookwood swim coach, Coach Will. We'll talk to him, and obviously Hailey Dopson, a phenomenal swimmer for him. She obviously has done great things here in the sport. We'll also get into the grant program that the Falcons have been able to do with Ashley Carey. She'll come on and join us, girls basketball rankings, and much more on the docket for today. But Craig, I want to start with the big games yesterday. So I want to kind of start with, let's start Holly Innocence in Lovett, right? Big win for them. Caleb, I heard, went off for 43 points in the 92-66 win over Lovett. 43 points, 16 rebounds. I mean, another big win for them. They look like I said, title favorites. We're going to talk about, what's your thoughts on that result?
Well, first of all, yeah, Tuesday is always one of the biggest nights for basketball. I was putting out the 6A blog yesterday. It's crazy. Some teams only have 3 games left on their entire schedule.
Yes.
Before we get into the region tournament. With Holy Innocents, credit to their coach. They've done such a good job at scheduling tough matchups at this point because let's just be honest, we've been talking about it. I don't know if Class A through 3A is going to really challenge them as much as they got challenged last year. They're even better this year. They're coming off the Grayson game where they went toe-to-toe with them. And then to have this result last night, another big performance. Caleb's going off playing with a ton of confidence, and they look just really good right now at the right time. In terms of some of the other results, though, I feel like you mentioned Tri-Cities.
Huge.
Holy Innocents beat Tri-Cities by like 30 points a couple weeks ago.
In December, yep.
That's how good they're playing right now.
No, 100%. I mean, obviously, great point. I think they're playing some high-end basketball. Kingston Whitney's been playing great. Devin Hutcherson to go along with it. Caleb Wilson has been phenomenal so far this year. And obviously, like you said, they're playing basketball at the right time. But speaking of Tri-Cities, they beat Woodward Academy, who's the number 1 in our Score Atlanta poll. It's a big win for them, 74-69. A lot of players went off. Trey Keefe had 31 points in that one, 8 boards, 8 assists. And he also had Sean Van Doren, 20 points and 11 rebounds in that one.
5A is getting very interesting right now.
Yes.
We've had Milton at number 1 the entire, probably last 5 weeks straight. They had a really lopsided loss to Wheeler. Woodward Academy picked up some big wins. So Woodward goes number 1. Then you have Tri-Cities last night. They're going to shake it up again, a big win over a new number 1 Woodward Academy. And if they have, I know they have a matchup coming up on Friday, the 31st. If they win this week and handle business, follow up the win with 2 dominant victories after this, I mean, they have a case to maybe be the new number 1 next week.
You know, it's crazy. They actually play again February 3rd.
Yeah, so coming up next Wednesday, is that?
Next Wednesday, I believe. No, Wednesday's the 5th. No, next Monday.
Okay, next Monday. That's right. So, yeah, so many huge matchups. And then let's talk real quick just about another lopsided result. I mean, Wheeler's win over Walton last night. True. Man, we knew after the Milton game, okay, Wheeler, they're starting to play great defense. They're getting everyone involved. They shut down Walton, and it's just such a great sign if you're a Wheeler fan to play a team that took you toe-to-toe last time, 55-51, and then go out there, hold them to 47 points, beat them by nearly 20, just a really dominant victory. Wheeler will have to play Etowah one more time, I believe, before this season's wrapped up. But, man, they are playing so well right now. And coming after the break into the new year, I do feel like that Etowah game was a wake-up call.
Yeah, it certainly was. Speaking of Etowah, they picked up a big win last night, too, against Cherokee. So shout out to them. They're playing good basketball at the right time. But to your point, you need those during the regular season. You don't want to stomp through the whole competition. When you face adversity, it's tough. So I definitely think that was a wake-up call for them. And like I said, I've seen them in person a couple times. And, Craig, they're very deep. They have a lot of players. And Kevin Savage hasn't even been playing. He's been injured over the last few weeks. So he hasn't even played. He's a 4-star guard in the 2026 class. So they just play well together, good camaraderie, good cohesion. And they got so many guys that can go off at any moment.
Yeah, and Walton-Wheeler is a rivalry. But this isn't a rivalry where they're going to be excited if they just come out with the win. They want to dominate this rivalry. They want to win big. They did last night for the first time, honestly, in probably 2 seasons. Last year, Walton got the win. The last game was close. This was finally Wheeler showing that they're back to that state championship form.
100%. Well, all right, guys, let's go ahead and get into our fast break headlines. Craig, I'll let you take it away at the first.
All right, so this is some big recruiting news. This is for Benedictine kicker Connor Ferguson, a chance to play at Georgia is a dream come true for the Cadets kicker. On Monday, he announced on X or Twitter that he is committed to the University of Georgia as a preferred walk-on. The senior had previously committed to UNC at Charlotte. On Sunday, Ferguson made the post on X that he was decommitting. He wrote, "After careful thought and due to a change in circumstances, I've made the difficult decision to decommit from UNCC football. The decision was not made lightly and comes with the utmost respect for the coaches and the program." Ferguson is ranked number 7 in the nation in the Coles kicking ranking and is number 1 in the state of Georgia. He went to a camp last summer at the University of Georgia. That's what put him on the radar. He says, "I've been a Georgia fan since I was in kindergarten, and when I got to visit there, I just loved the atmosphere of the school and the facilities. What's not to love? I developed a really strong relationship with the coaches there, and that meant a lot. You could say that this is a dream come true for me." As a senior, Ferguson earned all Greater Savannah first-team honors for the second year in a row. He made 15 of 18 field goals with a long of 52 yards, which set a Benedictine record. He was also 45 and 46 on extra points and 82% on touchbacks. So a do-it-all kicker for Benedictine and a big opportunity for him to walk on at Georgia, get his opportunity, and that's a school that has rewarded kickers with scholarships and put them into the league. I think it's a big deal.
Real quick, just before we go ahead, I know we've had great kickers throughout the state. Noah Gohar. We've obviously had Brett Fitzgerald down in Colquitt County. I know you're a big fan of kickers. You always put them out there, Craig, with your exposure. Just how excited is it for you to see that and him being able to have the opportunity?
Yeah, there's few teams at the high school level that really know how to use a kicker. And obviously you've got to have a good kicker that can handle the pressure. But just showing up to practice, showing the coach that you're solid from 45 yards, you're reliable. And that's why him doing what he did in the games, but also going to these camps, showing off his skills. They're very technical with the Coles rating system on hang time, his form, the type of spin on the ball. So he's clearly doing it right. And that's a big opportunity. And then I think Kirby Smart was actually at BT making his rounds yesterday. So there are plenty of great kickers, but they landed the Benedictine one right there.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's stay in Savannah with headline number 2. Savannah, this is boys basketball. Their midseason loss to McIntosh County Academy is fueling their championship aspirations. After a run to the Final Four of state last year, the Savannah High boys team brought back a wealth of talented veterans and started the season ranked number 1. The Blue Jackets are a tight-knit, senior-laden, confident group, and they started the season on a strong run before their loss on January 7th, 48-47 to McIntosh County Academy, the new number 1 in the state that they took over. The Blue Jackets are now sitting at number 2. A rematch looms at Savannah High on Tuesday, February 4th. Real quick, this is what head coach George Brown had to say about this budding rivalry. It showed that we can't just be comfortable, and we can be beat on any day if we're not playing our best. This is his second season at the school. He says that is going to serve us as motivation because we want to be the last team standing when it matters most. We're expecting it to be a different story when we meet up with MCA again. On Friday, the Blue Jackets were running on all cylinders as they cruised to a 69-17 win over ECI.
Yeah, big win, obviously, for MCA getting a win over Savannah. They got a really great player that I'm writing about today, and Makai Joyner, 23 points in that losing effort. All right, let's go to headline 3. Southwest DeKalb gets a big win against Tucker this past. They beat their rival. They dominated the glass, 42-17 advantage in that one, 58-49 victory over the number 7 Tucker Tigers in our standings. The Panthers, 19-2, 11-1, got a little payback on the Tigers, who had upset the Panthers 58-51 at Tucker back on December 13th. Southwest DeKalb broke a 10-10 tie with 1:03 to play in the first quarter on a putback by Messiah Mergen. Jackson Ushery would finish it off with a 6-0 run by the Panthers with back-to-back baskets in the final 39 seconds to push the Panthers out to a 14-10 lead. The Panthers would not trail the rest of the way as the Ushery's three-pointer with under 10 seconds left in the half sent his squad up 10 at the break, 28-18. They never let them back in at that point and rushed out to a 58-49 win with a pair of big free throws late.
Yeah, just a real quick note on this. So Tucker has had obviously a great week last week. We mentioned how they played 4 games in 5 days, the busiest part of their schedule. This was the first contest after that busy stretch, and them getting dominated on the glass like they did. You mentioned 42 of 17 advantage for Southwest DeKalb. Maybe it was fatigue. I know one thing, though. Practice is not going to be fun today.
No, it is not. No, it is not. All right, let's go to our next headline. Brookwood, they obviously swept the Gwinnett swimming and diving titles. We're going to have their head coach on here in just a little bit, but I just want to talk about this quote. It says, "It's just really special," Brookwood head coach Willie Hildebrand said of this championship sweep. "The group worked hard from start of the season. We knew last year it wasn't just a one-time show. You have all these kids coming back for another season. They did what they were supposed to do. It's special. I don't ever take winning for granted. They worked hard for it, and it wasn't easy." Brookwood swept all 6 relays, 3 boys, 3 girls for the championship, the 11th straight and 22nd in the last 26 seasons for the girls, and second in a row for the boys. Again, we'll have more coming up right here at the top of the hour, right after our break on here. All right, our last headline for the day, headline 5, we'll go to Langston Hughes hiring Adrico Hines as their new head coach, a major hire for their program. He was a part of the 2022 team who set records for their scoring during that season. Hines ran a team that scored a state record 792 points and finished 15-0 in Hines' only season with the South Fulton County High School. Hughes also became the first team in GHSA history to score 35 points or more in every game. Hughes' quarterback was Aaron Nolan, AJC Super 11 pick, who signed to Ohio State. Obviously, he's not at South Carolina after hitting the portal. Georgia offensive lineman Bo Hughley was another outstanding offensive piece on that historic team, as well as Jelani Thurman, who was at Ohio State as well. It was Hines' first state title. He was a co-offensive coordinator on Creekside's 2013 state championship as well. Hines, formerly of Riverdale, Middle Tennessee, and Arena League quarterback as well. So a big pickup for that. What's your reaction to that, Craig?
Yeah, no, it is great. This is obviously big shoes to fill with Coach Williams leaving. This is a guy, though, that has experience at Hughes running that offense. He has experience at Creekside. He was a quarterback back in the day, played in arena football. I think it's a great hire just to get a guy that's been at Hughes before. He's going to keep that program moving in the right direction.
Yes, he is, 100%. Well, guys, that's going to do it for our first segment. Coming up, we will talk to Will Hildebrand of Brookwood and just talk about the great program they have down there and their recent swim championships in Gwinnett County.
Great teams are committed, focused on the details, and work hard to be their best. From practice to games, right down to their gear. Your field is a critical part of the game that allows your athletes to showcase their athletic abilities. Sports Turf is committed to bringing your team innovative sports surfaces with unparalleled performance. You bring the vision. Our team brings it to life.
This makes my dad proud. He went through his whole career as an employee. Now I'm the employer, something he didn't achieve.
We are signatory to IBEW and do IBEW people wherever we go that we feel like they are faster and better than any of our competition.
The advantages of being a signatory contractor is you're trained employees. You have unlimited manpower. It allows me to bid on jobs that I ordinarily would not go after.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Man, you know how to do this? Man, I don't even know. I was flipping burgers last week.
Violation, unsportsmanlike conduct, impersonating a craftsman.
Skilled trade unions are well-trained career pros, not part-timers. Construction is a rewarding and lucrative career with the advancement potential, but you have to do it the right way with the right training. Learn how you can be a pro. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Electrify your career.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. Najee Wilkins along with Craig. Remember that you can watch the show on the Atlanta News First app. You can also watch it via Peachtree Sports Network on YouTube TV and the CBS Sports local streaming app, Zeem. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on the head coach for Brookwood Swimming, Will Hildebrand. How you doing, sir? Thanks so much for coming on.
Great. How are you?
Doing great, sir. So I just want to start. I mean, what a great program that you have there at Brookwood. Obviously, you guys end up sweeping both the boys and the girls side. Can you just talk just a little bit about all the work you guys put in to get to this point and seeing the fruition of all that labor you guys put in come into existence?
Oh, I mean, we've got a great list of athletes. They put in the work year-round with their year-round programs. So, I mean, it really does. We've got swimmers at Swim Atlanta, at Spartans Aquatic Center, at Gaga. We have a number of state swimmers at our practice at Mountain Park. So this is a year-round thing as far as the sport. So we're very pleased with the way they've been swimming, and we know that the best is yet to come.
100%, sir. And then I want to ask you a little bit about North Gwinnett. I think you had mentioned it in your quote, sir. You were talking just a little about what great of a program they have. So what was it like just going up against stellar competition, elite competition that not only you guys won, but it made you guys better at the end as well?
I mean, in general, Gwinnett swimming is stellar, some of the top in the state. So, I mean, not just North Gwinnett, but you have Parkview. You have a number of stellar swimmers at Mill Creek and also at Duluth. So North Gwinnett is always a great team, coached by Paul Callis. They do a great job year after year, and it's great to have that team that also pushes you too. So their relays are always up there. We're always competing back and forth for the best relay in not just the county but the state. So hats off to them. They did a stellar job this year too.
Yes, sir. Now, obviously, you have Hailey Dopson right next to you. Just tell me what makes her such a special, not just a player or a swimmer, but also a special human being, special just person to be around.
Look, she's going to blush a little here, but leadership is the first thing that comes to mind. She is one of our 4 elected girls captains, elected by the athletes on the team. Her swimming speaks for itself. I mean, you're looking at a state champion multiple times over. This year, I mean, she had not only leads our medley relay, but is also on our 200 freestyle relay and had a great 100 backstroke at county. So, but she, like I said, she leads by example. The girls follow her along with our other captains, and to me, that's the first thing that comes to mind. I mean, I could also brag about her in academics too. You have a very stellar student athlete next to me too. So she's got a number of great attributes, and like I said, she's a great role model for our girls.
Oh, sorry, Coach, I got a question for you real quick, just about the county championships. We covered the Cobb County one. Walton also was able to sweep boys and girls. When you have these county championships going on, obviously it's a big part of the year. Are you guys kind of competing with yourself, having your own individual times you want to hit, or do you ever kind of look at what the other teams are doing statewide?
Any coach worth their weight is going to be looking at teams throughout the state. We have, you look at Walton's boys, they are back-to-back state champions. We're always keeping an eye on them. West Forsyth, South Forsyth are also great schools out there too. So with swimming, it's all about times. We put our times obviously on the state website. So every coach is always looking at not just who's in your county, but who's beyond that.
And then Hailey, you come from a great athletic family. When was it where you realized that swimming is an opportunity for you not only to have this great varsity career, but give yourself an opportunity to compete collegiately, and then maybe even beyond that?
So I definitely always had the goal of being a collegiate swimmer since I was a kid. I mean, with my dad's influence and my brother kind of being all over the place with sports. And I don't know, I would say it clicked in middle school, and I was obviously around Brookwood and I saw the program. It definitely got me excited ahead of time. So I kind of got a little sneak peek with that, but I would say around middle school is when I kind of realized the cool things that the sport had to offer me.
And then how much did it mean to you to be able to win that backstroke individual championship statewide, just to have that accomplishment, but also use it to maybe challenge yourself to reach new goals and take your game to the next level?
Yeah, so I don't even know how to explain it. It was just, it was more like a team thing when I realized it. I was just really excited about because that event is towards the end of the meet. So it was kind of at that moment that we were already really excited about the win or what we could have done. So I don't know. And all the competition that I had years prior, like Katie Choate and stuff, I was always pushed and pushed and pushed. So it was really cool to actually get to be on the top that time. And it definitely, you always have to have a next goal. So it just made it a little bit harder for next time.
And then you've obviously committed. You're going to go to the University of Georgia. You're very excited about that opportunity. What was that relationship like with the program, being able to stay in state, talking to them, and how excited are you for that?
I am super excited for that. The proximity to my house was actually my main goal, because I don't know, I've always been, I would say like a homebody. Like I would rather stay close to my family and familiar places, and both of my parents went to Georgia, so that was another thing where it's just like I always really, really wanted to go to the University of Georgia. So I think that was the main thing. It's just, it was what I was used to, and I loved the program when I saw it, and I was like, this is the one that I would like the next 4 years with.
And then, Hailey, I want you to teach me just a little bit about the 100-meter backstroke and obviously the 100 free, right? In terms of preparation, right? Kind of treat me like I'm a novice. How do you prepare when you're doing those two events? Is it any different, or is it the same in terms of preparation when you're trying to prepare for doing those events?
I honestly would say it's pretty similar. Obviously you have your warm-ups. It's just kind of flipped around once on your stomach, once on your back. But other than that, literally, it's the same warm-up itself. But what actually gets me ready for events is I feed off of the team's energy. So when county and stuff is really, really there's a lot of energy. We're really excited. Every single time I will see my excitement level, and I'm ready when it's time with just energy. I guess I just feed off of the energy. So it's depends how everyone else on the team is, feeding off of everything else that happened before. So a good swim before me, I get really, really excited. I'm like, well, let's have another one. So it's pretty much, I'd say it's similar.
Okay, and then your coach talked about your leadership. So you talk about feeding off their energy. So how do you lead this group? Do you lead more so verbally, or do you just lead by just your actions and how you do at the meets?
I would say a little bit of both. I want to say that I'm a very loud person when it comes to the pool deck. You will definitely hear me. But I'm also on the first relay of the meet. So Coach Willie will always tell me come on, you're starting us out, let's go. And so I think that's kind of what starts all the energy. So it kind of just builds and builds and builds. But there's music playing, you'll hear me, you'll see me. I'll also do some pep talks and stuff. I'll always be behind the blocks telling other people hey, don't think about it, just do your race and you got it. So I think it's a little bit of both.
Got you. Now, Coach Hildebrand, question for you. So in terms of after, winning this meet, what's next in terms of preparation? I believe the state meet is coming up as well. So can you just walk us through that? How are you going to prepare this team, rest, rehab, all that good stuff?
The state is next Friday. So we have diving on Tuesday, the state meet Friday for us prelims. The finals meet is on Saturday. It's just basically, look, we celebrated the win on Monday with county, and it's just time to get back to work. Most of our swimmers didn't take the day off on Tuesday. They went to practice. They stretched out. For swimming, there's something we call a taper phase, where you start kind of dropping down the yards, but you can only do that when you kind of build up the volume. So for this week, most swimmers are getting kind of a high volume workout. Next week, we'll start taking it easy once again. When it comes to nutrition and rest and all those things, these are trained athletes. They know that they got to take care of their bodies outside of the pool to prep for the meet. So the big thing is just we look at the times at county. We were very pleased with things, but we know we can go faster. So it's just bringing up that rigor in practice to try to get us there for next week.
100%. Well, Coach, I want to say thank you just so much for coming on, talking about your great program at Brookwood. We wish you guys nothing but the best at, obviously, the prelims at the state championship next week.
Great. Thank you very much for having us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. All right, guys, coming up, we'll have more, and we'll discuss the latest in the Peach State. Go.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is presented by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Transform your future today. And by Smart Local 85. Sheet metal is a smart move.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Day. Remember that the show is powered by IBEW Local 613. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it, Craig. We talked about your basketball rankings yesterday. Now talk about, obviously, I do the girl basketball rankings. So let's go ahead and roll 6A. Craig, what are you most excited about just seeing these rankings? Obviously, we're going to go through everything, but 6A is very interesting with Northside. Obviously, I have them at the top, but North Paulding, Grayson, any of those teams, I feel like the top four has a good shot to win the title this year.
Yeah, I felt like last year Grayson was a superstar team. They honestly remind me of the girls' version of Wheeler 2 years ago with Isaiah Collier, and that super team just looked unbeatable within the state. This year you have North Forsyth and North Paulding. I don't know who would win that matchup at the big stage. They seem to be very evenly matched. And then you see a lot of these top 10 matchups in the last week were very close. Campbell, it looks like they moved up in your rankings. You see Buford drop this last week. I think Carrollton had a competitive loss as well. But what do you think about the rest of your top five? I know Grayson and Archer have been very close, but where do you see Campbell just out of Cobb County rising in the poll?
Yeah, I think Campbell has a great chance. Obviously, they've been great. They recently beat Hillgrove 48-45. I think they're a team that could potentially be dangerous. They have really good guard play. What's interesting is they can match up when they go up against like a Tatum Brown or something like that against Grayson. So that's why I have them at 4. I feel like Grayson with Coach Tim Slater, not the same talent level, but I still think the same superior coaching. So I think they have any chances. Depends on who they match up with, but I think they could be a Final Four team.
And then between those top two, North Forsyth and North Paulding, both have incredible resumes. I mean, how close do you see that two-team battle?
I think it's very close. We obviously got to see the head coach, Coach West, of North Paulding in the Corn County Dave Hunter Basketball Classic earlier this year, and they gave us a thrilling game. We'll never forget that, the game winner by Ava Andrews in that one. They're very talented as well. They got so many young players that can play really elite guard play. And then you look at North Forsyth, I don't know a better front court that we have maybe in the state when you look at Landon Weaver and you look at the team that they have.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if they are able to make history this year. Let's get to 5A.
All right, let's go to 5A. At the top, obviously, I had River Ridge. They beat private 3A or private Holly Innocents at the Holly Innocents MLK Classic 74-60 recently. Hailey Swain, obviously, she's phenomenal. Was recently named McDonald's All-American. Langston Hughes, they ended up losing to Carrollton recently in a loss there, so I did drop them down. I gave River Ridge my number 1 building, but they did beat St. Francis 66-60. Could be one of those things we've seen with Etowah and Willard. Craig, just kind of a reset, thing just to see where you at. Obviously, Morrow, they lost 53-52 to Sandy Creek, so I moved them up a little bit. And then Pope swept Sequoia, winning in overtime 72-67. The game of the week, though, River Ridge is going to play Pope this Friday night, so that's going to be an interesting top 10 matchup. Can Pope beat a really good River Ridge team?
Yeah, Pope is having a great week, but I think when you look at this 5A rankings, River Ridge, so close last year. They returned everyone. They look outstanding. I think 5A will be a really intriguing playoff bracket. I think a lot of even matchups, but to me it seems River Ridge has definitely solidified themselves as the number 1. They're going to be a very tough team to beat.
Yes, they are. All right, let's go to 4A. At the top is Creekside. They look very impressive and have continued to. They beat Southridge 57-52, and they beat Midtown 66-38 on the road. Marist obviously defeated St. Pius last night 68-41. They look like a really good challenger for them. Kell ended up beating Centennial 80-5. I think I seen the score was for that one. Norfolk Coney withstood Merlin Malibus 30 points to topple Athens Christian 48-46, so they've looked good as well. And then Jackson Atlanta lost to Midtown 59-50 last night, so that's a big time contest, Craig, between 6 and 8. So probably going to have to think about moving Midtown up over maybe Jackson Atlanta.
Yeah, Midtown's made a couple good runs recently. Great team this season. What do you think, though? I mean, Marist, we know how good they are. We know how star-powered they are with Kate Harpering. For Creekside to be number 1, I mean, how confident are you that they have the ability to take this thing?
Yeah, I think they got a shot. What it's going to come down to is shot making, right? Can you get in a position where you got a great player like Sienna Dennis, who's obviously caught the kind of, world on fire here in the Peach State. She's so young, but is filling it up. I think recently in the outage she had 30 points, right? Outside of her, where else does your offense come? Do you have girls you can kind of dump it down to below, and give it to her, in the paint if Dennis doesn't have it going. So that's the biggest question. And defensively, can you make enough stops? Because Harpering, she's going to get the defensive attention, which is double boxing ones. The coach talked about it, but she's such a great facilitator and playmaker. She can set her teammates up. So who else steps up besides her?
Very true. And then one stat we have right here, India Dennis against Midtown in that win had 11 steals. That's going to be the key. If they can press Maris, get them off their game, surround Kate Harper and produce those turnovers, that will be the key.
100%. All right, let's go to 3A now. At the top is Pickens. I really like them. They've had a really great season this year. They escaped North Hall recently, 42-39. Jefferson, they had a big win against Galloway, 66-59 in that one. They also swept the season series against Oconee County, 39-33 in that one. Oconee County probably will drop a few spots in the new poll. Baldwin, they suffered 3 straight losses, but I still kept them in the poll. I still think they're a great team, but it could be a wake-up call for them to see kind of how they're going to rebound and how they're going to finish. And then Sandy Creek climbed up a few spots for me as well after defeating Morrow in the For the Culture MLK Classic here recently. All right, let's go to 2A. At the top for 2A, you have Thompson. Thompson continues to look good. Murray County won at Lakeview Academy at the MLK Day Showcase, 48-42. Freshman Blakely Ledford scored 21 points in that one, so she's been looking good. Hardaway pulled away from Marietta, 67-51 in the MLK Classic. Rihanna Boynton had 17 points and 15 rebounds. The test here, though, Craig, is the top 4. All these teams played each other, and they've played each other out. Josie's also a very impressive team, but going up against Thompson, going up against Butler and Murray County, all those teams are going to play. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens come postseason time, but so much familiarity.
Yeah, Josie, to me, they have great size, great rebounding. They went toe-to-toe with St. Francis. I think it's what you said. If they're able to hit their shots, get someone going from outside, and really open it up offensively, they have the defense, they have the rebounding. It's just, if they get hot, they're going to be pretty hard to beat.
100%. All right, guys, let's go to Class A Division I. Now, at the top is obviously Elbert County. They won private Athens Academy, 44-43. Sierra Rucker, she scored 12 points. Fannin County went 4-0 recently, beating Armucci 57-48, and also beating Christian Heritage 68-53. And then the model was wore down by Heard County, who beat them 58-35 in that one. All right, let's go to Class A Division II. At the top, Taylor County, they've looked impressive so far this year. They suffered their first loss to St. Anne Pasolini, 58-47. You also have Wilcox County, who's been very impressive this season, and Telfair County had a big win last night as well in their win. So this is pretty much widespread. If I had to be honest with you, Craig, anybody I feel like can win in this Class A Division II.
Yeah, I've seen Taylor County make runs before, and their team, great ball movement. They usually have a shooter spotted up in the corner. They rely heavily on the three-point shot, but they always have multiple girls that can knock it down. And they probably have the most experience making championship runs in this new Class A Division II field.
They do. And without further ado, last but not least, we go to Class A 3A Private. At the top, Hebron Christian. They picked up a big win last night over Hart County. They continue to look impressive. St. Francis fell last week, 66-60 against Langston Hughes. And then Mount Perrin, they crushed number 9 Green Forest, 54-13. Eagles are down 3 spots, but they continue to be very impressive so far this year. And Saca thrashed 6A Norcross 67-29.
And don't count out Mount Perrin with Jessica Fields. She is a superstar.
Yes, she is. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the basketball rankings. Coming up, we will talk to Darrell Lane of GHSA, the latest about basketball, slam dunk contest, three-point contest, and much, much more about the basketball here in the state of Georgia.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Dang, where you get this car?
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.
A journeyman with Local 85 when you turn out, you can be hitting six figures.
Hey, I have your back, you have my back, we're gonna do this together. We're one for all for one.
College just wasn't for me. Let's look into actual career jobs that wouldn't take college, where I wouldn't, lose money and all that. Instead of losing a lot more money at the end, why not make money and make more money at the end?
What happens after you graduate? Will you go to the next level? Will people have your back in the heat of the battle? Will you still train like a champion in pursuit of greatness? You will when you become an IBEW electrician. Join our team. Visit IBEW613.org.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. Najee Winslow, Craig Sager. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on GHSA Darrell Lane to talk a little bit about some hoops.
How you doing, guys?
Hey, how's everything?
Everything's lovely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're getting ready to enter into the, I guess the winter part of our season and the end of it, coming into our playoffs. But I know you guys asked me to come on to speak a little bit about the championships as far as the slam dunk contest event that will be taking place. So I'm glad to be here. And just like I said, whatever questions you may have about it or any information can be found on our website, of course, at GHSA.net for those students that are interested in participating.
Yes, sir. Let's actually start there with the three-point contest and slam dunk, and I kind of start with there as a topper. Just tell us a little bit about how kids, if they want to get selected or the selection process, how does that go?
Okay. Well, with the slam dunk contest, right now they can submit their 30-second or less video on the website. There's a link that's on there that they can go ahead and upload those to the website. The voting will take place from January 17th through February 5th. Fans can vote as many times as they like and as for as many competitors as they like to vote for. We only ask that it's only one classification. There's one entry per school. And the participants must meet the eligibility requirements set forth by the Georgia High School office. And there are no special props or gimmicks. They're not allowed. Participants are allowed to have an individual assist them. A lot of times you see the slam dunk contest and someone to come out and maybe hold the ball in a certain position so that the athlete can grab it and then dunk it. And of course, we encourage that. Those videos have to be, like I said, 30 seconds or less. And then we'll vote on them, have a week to vote on them for the preliminary. That'll be that. And then that'll get narrowed down to the, after that, the first round from second round, rather, from February 17th through the 21st. And then we'll have the finals for the slam dunk on March the 8th at the Macon Centralplex. It's been an exciting event over the last several years. Kids really enjoy it. Fans really enjoy it. We get an opportunity to see some very athletic moves, and it's quite entertaining. As far as the three-point contest, we have both the girls, single girls opportunity, and then a co-ed opportunity. The co-ed opportunity has to be a girl and a boy from the same school, of course, and then they participate in the preliminary rounds, which will take place on February 15th and February 16th at 6 different sites. And then we have the semifinal rounds that will take place on February 22nd and 23rd. Those can also be found on the GHSA.net website. You can register on that. And then you got several different, like I said, we have 6 different locations throughout the state for the first round. There's Statesboro High School, Perry High School, Lowndes High School, and then Dawson County, Money Mills High School, and Cherokee High School. And we look forward to getting as many participants in those events as possible.
Yes, sir, certainly. And then I want to pick your brain just a little bit. You obviously have over 25 years of experience. You know, you've officiated high school, you've done some college. What's your thoughts on the growth of the sport just from the girls' side? More attention coming to it. We're seeing higher shot making, more higher quality play. Just what's your thoughts on that?
On the girls' side,
Yes, sir.
specifically, and of course, I may be kind of biased because I was, like you said, you mentioned I officiated on the women's side in the NCAA. So, but I've seen it grown on both sides. But the women, of course, is taking I guess leaps and bounds over the last 4 or 5 years. Easy. There has always been fundamentally sound basketball, and I think that the growth of it from mechanic standpoints is just tremendous. I mean, of course, we have to give a lot of credit to the coaches involved in the hard work that they put in with the kids and the constant training that they go through. But it has grown leaps and bounds throughout nationwide, not only in the state of Georgia, but nationwide. And of course, you've known of the phenomenon that's happened over the last couple of years with the NCAA women's ball and going into the WNBA. But it starts at grassroots with the high school, of course, and it has been a tremendous growth, and you can see a lot of skill development that, quite frankly, hadn't always been there, but it's there now, and with a vengeance.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And in the last few years, we've seen the GHSA get the shot clock approved for all the teams. That was huge in just I feel like boosting the play. It helps prepare the kids for the next level in college. Having the shot clock, we've seen the introduction of the three-point, the slam dunk. Georgia's considered a football state. I feel like the basketball community is very hungry for these types of changes. Just being kind of on the inside of the GHSA, what would you say just to the basketball fans or basketball coaches about the efforts the GHSA is doing just to make sure they're looking at ways to continue to elevate?
Well, yeah, these are, like you mentioned, it traditionally, the southeastern part of the United States probably has been considered more of a football area, but basketball has always been very, very powerful sport in the state of Georgia, and it's continued to be. You can look through our history of a lot of the former NBA players, WNBA players, several of them that are gone into Hall of Fame that came through the Georgia high school ranks. So it's always been also on the forefront of growth in the state, basketball-wise. And girls, and like I said, has grown tremendously. But these are the contests that we're putting on with the three-point contest, whether it's the girls or the co-ed, and also with the slam dunk contest. It's just continued growth. I don't think you can go into any city without seeing some real competitive basketball, or any area of the state without seeing real competitive basketball. I was at some middle school games, and of course we don't govern the middle school, but I was at some middle school games last week, and it was some tremendous action and a lot of skills that was going on that wasn't always there in the middle school area. So it's continued to grow, and I think that we're going to keep pushing it forward from our standpoint from the office.
Yeah, and one of the things I've noticed is it seems to be a trend. It's like back in the day, if you're a big man or a center for a girls team, you usually don't develop the full game. You don't necessarily have to worry about the handles. I feel like now we have some of these special players that can just do it all. They're very versatile. Do you feel like that's one of the things that has helped just these Georgia athletes just year after year having really fully developed players at the high school level?
Yeah, I think because, like I said, I've experienced it on the NCAA level as far as coaches being or inquiring about players over the years, and their skill levels as far as having a mid-range shot all the way out to the three-point line. Like you said, you always hadn't had that. You had the traditional back to the basket, post-up players. Well, they're more developed now. They can still do the post-up and be the back to the basket type players, but when they can stretch out, that gives them a lot more opportunities to grow and get picked up by an NCAA school, or just to make basketball better in itself. Like I said, it used to be within 6 to 8 feet as far as the girls' game was played, but now it's stretching all the way out, like you said, to the three-point line. And we might not have the Caitlin Clarks, but who does? But we do have some that can stretch it out pretty far.
I do want to ask one just hot topic for you, sir, Coach Lane, or Mr. Lane. I want to ask a little bit about just so many great prominent basketball players that have come through the state of Georgia. We know it is a football state, but right now in this class, we see the Caleb Wilsons. A few years ago, Stephon Castle, who's playing for the Spurs, right? We've seen, obviously, Isaiah Collier, who's with the Utah Jazz, Colin Sexton, Walker Kessler. I can go on and on. Do you believe we will be able to see, again, maybe the state championships be televised, to be able to kind of just show and expose the great talent that we have here in the Peach State?
Yes, most definitely. We're actually working to look to have GPB back, and we're glad to have them back in partnership. We will have those televised. We had to go. We went to National Federation only streaming last few years, but we are looking forward to having GP back as a partner and having the televised games again.
Yes, sir, certainly. Well, that's all the time we have. We would definitely love to have you on again to talk more hoops and just about the latest things and the newest improvements that GHSA is doing with basketball. Great, obviously, sport here in the Peach State. We thank you for coming on.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, there goes Darrell Lane. Obviously, GHSA, he does basketball, he does soccer, volleyball as well, does a little bit of everything. We appreciate him coming on and talk a little bit about basketball with the latest with the three-point contest and slam dunk. All right, guys, coming up after the break, we will talk about the Falcons' grant to GHSA schools, continuing to help out flag football and many, many more across our great state of Georgia.
One, two, three. You got me? Okay.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily for our final segment. Nigel Wilkes along with Craig Sager and a special guest, Ashley Carey. She does a little bit of everything for us. Obviously, always behind producing, but today she is in front of the camera to tell us about this great grant. I want to get your thoughts though, because I've been researching it. Milton is one of the teams with the Guardian Cap. I know obviously we're talking about the flag football part, but I'll talk about the Guardian Cap aspect. We had them on. They're using it. Georgia Tech's another program here in the state of Georgia that's also using the Guardian Cap. Why is that so important, you think?
Well, no pun intended, but it's a no-brainer. I mean, the fact that these schools are utilizing this unbelievable technology is fantastic. What I was reading earlier was the GHSA said that only 13% of schools in the state of Georgia are actually using these Guardian caps during practice. There's so much room for growth on that, and that's exactly why the Falcons, the Arthur Blank Foundation, and the GHSA have teamed up with Guardian Cap to provide 50 Guardian caps for a school if they apply for this grant. And if you guys are watching, if you're an AD, if you're a superintendent, if you're a principal, a coach, anything, it takes 10 seconds to apply for the grant interest form and get more information on this. So again, a no-brainer on this. It's a fantastic opportunity for these schools in the state of Georgia. And look, I mean, Milton leads the way in 6A on the field, and they're really doing it in so many more ways than one. They're playing and winning championships, but they're also protecting their players, which is really important for the longevity of the sport.
100%. Now, I want to ask you a little bit about just transitioning to flag football. Yeah. Now, we had the first ever televised. I mean, you were up there in the booth. I was calling the game. You were along there with me, helping me out. And we continue to see the growth of the sport. So why is it so important for the Arthur Blake Foundation to be kind of the catalyst for this and continue to give these programs grants and to help them out to what they want to become eventually?
Yeah, the Falcons are on the forefront of growing flag football in the state of Georgia. I mean, they've been a huge partner with the sport for the past 6 and 7 years. You know, what started with just a few girls have progressed into 7,000 girls participated in flag football this year, over 270 programs, and that continues to grow. They're so passionate about the sport. Look, when I was in high school, not too many years ago, I desperately wish flag football was a sport because girls are very interested in it. They want to be able to play a sport in the same fashion, and flag football is a great outlet for that. I played powder puff, which was a lot of fun, but you know, that's not serious. There's really no rules, but the Falcons have really done a great job in growing flag football, and this grant that they're providing for new schools, you can apply for the grant. It's $10,000 for new schools, accredited schools who have never had a flag football program, and then if you do have a flag football program, they're providing $5,000 to continue to grow your program in many more ways than one. And Najee, when you called the game, it was my first time actually seeing a flag football game played in the state of Georgia, and it was so cool because the rules are a little bit different. And just to see these girls perform the way they did, I mean, they could get on the field with guys, I feel like, and really participate with them. So it's really cool to be part of a state that's really growing the sport.
Yeah. So I mean, every school is eligible. You mentioned the teams that already have a program can apply for a grant that can help out, and then the teams that don't. You mentioned 7,000 girls are playing right now. Teams have until March 14th. Do you think that we can get that number up to 10,000 with these programs and maybe add 20 to 30 new teams this year?
Look, if I had the ability to go door to door and knock on every high school in the state of Georgia, I would, because this is just, I mean, the Falcons are literally handing the keys to success over to these teams to be able to provide financial support to grow, to not only start their team, but grow their team. When we had the Georgia Elite Classic back in December, one of the girls, I was talking with their mom, and they said her daughter literally put the team together, found a coach, then went to the AD and was like, we want to have football this year. They called the Falcons helped them out, and were able to get this program up and running. And now it's a great program in the state of Georgia. So it's just really, I hope that everybody takes 10 seconds to apply for the interest form for this grant, that you can scan the QR code on the screen right here and quickly fill it out. By the time we're even off air, you could be done. So just fill it out.
Yeah, and when we were talking to Chris Millman about it, he really, it's very generous. It's $10,000, but he views this as an investment. Like, get these programs playing now, and then in a couple years, the state of Georgia is going to be leading so much that flag football is going to be actually generating revenue for each of these programs and the sport in general.
Absolutely, and there's so much more opportunity than just playing the sport at your high school. You've got the score awards that we do. You've got the Mr. and Mrs. Football Awards. That's going to be huge. And then you've got the Georgia Elite Classic. That just shows you that we want to continue to grow the sport, but so does everybody else. I mean, at the Georgia Elite Classic this year, one of our players was offered by 2 schools to play at the next level. That's huge. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's incredible. Like, these girls now have a whole new outlet and a new ability to go to college to play a sport that they're really passionate about. And all of that can start with the investment that the Falcons are giving these schools.
100%. Let me ask you this as a fun question to kind of wrap this up. how cool was it just to be able to see all these girls and be able to, I want to go back to Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic in October, and I want to go to state championships, and I want to go to Georgia Classic. How cool was it to kind of see that progression and just see great quality flag football?
Yeah. It gives me the chills just to think about it. I mean, these are household names now, like Chelsea Njoku. Like, to watch her perform at all levels, some of the girls that played in Corky Kell and then continued on and played with us at the Georgia Elite. I mean, you've got girls that just truly care and are passionate about the sport and are going to be household names and staples, and I'm so incredibly excited now that I have a year under my belt understanding the sport, of continuing to grow it, bring more attention to it along with the Falcons and this grant program. I'm excited to see which schools take advantage of this year and grow in 2025.
Yeah, I feel like with Chelsea, I mean, she's a great basketball player too, one of the better ones in the state, but I mean, her buying into flag football, perfecting her craft, and then proving that she was the best player in the state last year, that opportunity would not have been there if she didn't decide to go out of the sport. So, I mean, she's a perfect example of someone that, yeah, she would have been a name playing basketball, but she was really able to establish herself, lead them to the first ever state title, win the first ever Mrs. Georgia award, and really set the standard.
Yeah, very excited to see where it goes in 2025. And again, if you're watching, it takes 10 seconds. Just fill it out, get more information, and you could be part of our Corky Kell Classic next year. Who knows? Your athletes could be playing for the Georgia Elite Classic. Anything can happen.
Yeah, anything. And as Ashley mentioned, remember that we do televise these games on TV on the Peachtree Sports Network. Corky Kell, our Georgia Elite Classic as well. So remember, scan that QR code. If you are interested, tell a friend, and let your parent know potentially you could jumpstart the program. All right, guys, that's going to conclude today's show. You know what to do tomorrow. Same time, same place, 12 to 1 p.m. right here on the Peachtree Sports Network.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off. Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
Beginning the morning you opened your eyes, we spent every waking moment preparing you for the day you'd leave our nest. Whether it's driving to practice or helping with homework, it's all prepared you for, what am I going to be when I grow up? Will you be ready?
After much thought, I made my decision to take my talents to the IBEW Local 613.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is not simply a job, it's a career. Visit IBEW613.org to begin a new future today.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Are you interested in becoming a deputy or a jailer? The Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office is hiring and looking for individuals passionate about protecting and serving their community. If you are 18 years or older, join our team by visiting gogcso.com for more information. Gwinnett County, together we can make a difference.